Greetings, everyone. Nate the Nerdarch here from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with some nerds.
Ted.
Right.
Dark Stave.
And today we're discussing Hit 'em while they're down, Dastardly or Realism.
You decide.
Hey, jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
And when you have players down, you have the option of having the monsters ignore them, or you have the option, like Dave's Spelljammer game, of tearing them absolutely asunder, say they're a Kraken or something like that.
All right, since we're talking about this, and I have some actual experience with this a bit in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, because, you know, the death saves and all that happens here.
And it's absolutely integral to the plot.
It's integral to the plot. So there's several things that have happened. Well, I think one of the first ones was running Ted's character over with a chariot after he'd been dropped. Or was it Alan's character? It was Alan's character I ran over.
Yes, you ran over Alan's character with a chariot.
After
you had the Myconid Lich stomp on my face.
Only once.
Again, all these instances
Stopped 3 times.
have been integral to the plot.
Only need to do it twice.
Yeah.
You only need to do it twice. And then, of course, in the Spelljammer game, as you pointed out, my son's character went down, and then I had the baby Kraken basically shred him.
So we kind of had to congeal the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, at least in that instance, we had a way to have him get better from that situation.
All right, so I think there's 2 situations that happen here. Either you do what the creature would normally do in this situation, or
You wear kid gloves.
you if you were looking to actually attack them, you step out of the role of, all right, this is what the thing would do, and I'm just being a dick DM. Now, in the case where you ran over Alan's character with the chariot, he was in the way, the thing was moving.
It made sense.
It was a pain in the ass for Alan to have had that failed death save automatically happen.
A mild inconvenience.
When the Myconid Lich stepped on my face, I found out there were reasons afterwards of why he would do it. I don't know whether he would have taken the time in combat to do it when there were still adversaries there, but me as the player, I don't have any control over that. I was certainly angry at you that it happened, because it's like...
Well, so in that particular instance, it had fast healing that only was stopped by radiant damage.
And I was doing radiant
You
damage.
were the only one doing radiant damage. So I actually see 2 reasons for doing it. 1, he wanted to make sure you didn't get back up. And 2, it was actually out of spite and rage that he did it. Because you were the only one that was actually really hurting him. Sure, the other people were doing damage to him, but they weren't hurting him. Because that damage would go away.
Right.
And that's my justification.
I'm not saying you weren't justified. It's still without knowing the full reasons, and knowing that my character was that close to death, it certainly was making me angry. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, but here's the interesting thing too. Really intelligent monsters know that harming a down foe, like other people might trade their actions to attack it to really help the now severely injured player. Because from a narrative standpoint, if the creature has human level intelligence, it knows that the stakes are going up now on harming you, because now somebody has to urgently take care of you, or you're just going to die.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's tactics, whether or not the creature is going to say, well, this is a hostage, I'm going to take them away, or I'm going to hold my weapon on them.
That's another great thing is, like, if a cornered monster, a group of monsters, like, could take a down foe and just hold a blade to their throat or something, it's like, all right, you're going to let me out of here, or I'm going to end this person. Then that seems like a really good sort of bargaining chip.
Another thing is with Dave, the emotions part of it, where it's enraged and it's aggravated, and one of the only things actually stopping it from continuing to live was this person that it knocked down.
So when there isn't a justifiable reason to do it, but you think it's just funny, that's when I think you're being a dastardly DM.
Well, so here's the thing: like an animal, if that animal isn't immediately being attacked or in threat, it might savage someone that's already attacked, or start to carry them off to go eat them later, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so like a large size, say, wolf or something like that. So they're going to take damage because it's got you in its jaws, and that's kind
I feel like unintelligent opponents, like animal or lower, it actually makes sense for them to actually keep attacking the down foe. But in this case, attacking might be eating.
Yeah.
So however you want to
So
look
there's
at
like
it.
a narrative framework for anything, as long as you're not immediately taking damage from other threats. Is kind of the thing. Because usually with animals, it's like the last thing that harmed it. You want to go attack that source of harm, right? So.
So the other angle is, to remember that you as the DM, you're trying to provide a story for your friends. If you're not into this is a heavily fatal game, how often do you want to be doing these kind of things?
Well, we were just talking about a whole bunch of what sounds like cool death scenes to me, or like possible death scenes. I'll
remember that for tonight, Nate.
So. Very personal, Ted. So
We'll make it memorable.
In one of the games I ran, someone had controlled a goblin with scimitar, and they stopped controlling him. It was like Crown of Madness or something. So he attacked somebody right on the edge of a cliff. It was a 20, so it's like, all right. He slashes you, and then he kicks you off the cliff. The slash put them at 0. Almost just, it was like massive damage because it was crit.
Right.
I totally feel like that makes sense.
And I kicked him off the cliff.
Yeah.
It sounded really awesome.
Dude, that is totally that's like straight out of 300, right? When he kicks him off, kicks him off into the pit or whatever.
This is Gobla!
Now that person actually happened to live through the fall too.
Yeah.
So someone ran down immediately and healed them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the goblin got away.
But that makes their stakes to things, like things matter, and your players can't think that you're going to go easy on them to a certain degree. So I kind of like it a little bit,
And here's the thing, right? Did you feel like your character could die when you were being stomped on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Like, I only stomped once, and I knew I was only going to do that once anyway, right? I gave you 2 failed death saves. Boom, right off the bat.
Right, which means on my next turn, if no one healed me, there's a 45% chance.
Again, with Alan's character, same thing. But in that case, I knew he could even be brought back. So it's whatever.
But I was the cleric. I'm the one that brings people back.
Well, and actually, from a monster standpoint, that's the guy you really want to make sure they're dead.
Oh, yes.
Or you want to down other people so that the cleric has to heal them. I mean, in actual war, that's the other thing. Attack the medic or injure people so they have to be attended to.
Oh, that's interesting. What are you playing tonight? What class are you playing tonight,
some nature cleric.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I'm worried.
You guys are completely covered. You got a cleric and a druid. Unless I kill both of you, you're fine.
The druid only wild shapes into dinosaurs. That's it.
He's not.
He's gonna be like, I would like to help you, but
I also want to be
T-Rex.
I want to be an ankylosaurus. I would really like to do this.
Can't do anything with these.
With these little arms.
And now with the
He needs one of those grippo sticks, like the things that you pull that grab things.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
now when I murdered my son's character, I knew there was a rod of resurrection, and I figured I would just make you guys use a charge or whatever. So as a DM, you know what's going on, so you could do things like that as well.
You also knew that there was a revivify in the party as well. So
Yeah. So do you know what resources your players have? Well, make them use them.
Yes.
And if that means bringing characters back from being dead, that's fine. And because 5th edition is not very lethal, in my opinion, I want to drop characters as often as possible because it makes the players feel like there's a real threat and their characters are being challenged.
And I've seen multiple ones on death saving throws, so that's another thing that ups the stakes as well. There's a 5% chance that you could be just out and out dead as far as that goes too.
Well, I mean, the one only still only counts as 2 failed saves, but. And an attack on a body that's down.
Oh yeah, that is
counts as 2.
Yeah,
So,
really, you only need to fail one more time. So no, it sort of attacking the down player in that combat basically means that all right, there's a 50-50 chance that this character is just dead.
Now, I'm also the kind of DM that will try and come up with ways to bring a character back into the game too. If the player really enjoys them, I might not tell them I'm going to do that, but I have no, I have no problem with ripping their emotions apart at the table, because guys, it's a character you've been playing for a while. You might have to walk away. You might have to walk away from the table for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm not crying.
I have to go outside and watch the rain.
You've had a time where you actually brought one of my characters back because you're not attached to this guy enough yet. I need to make this last longer.
The pain and suffering is not good enough.
So I made a stupid mistake. My character got killed, and I still wanted to play it, so I was like, well, we'll see what we can do.
You guys let us know in the argument section down below what your opinions are on the life and death of characters and how you like to handle it. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Check us out over on Facebook.
You can check out articles over at nerduck.com.
Or you can support us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.